Do you view democracy as an American value, something that's very important to the fabric of this country?
No. Where is democracy in the U.S. Constitution?
Oh, okay. So are you...
No, hold on. Where is the word democracy?
I don't think the word democracy is in the Constitution.
So where is the word democracy in any of the founding fathers?
A lot of the founding fathers had extremely elitist viewpoints around who should...
No, hold on. I just want to... You said the word democracy, so I want to get back to our roots.
Yes.
Where is democracy mentioned?
I don't...
In the Federalist Papers, the Constitution, or the Declaration?
I think it's good that this country has moved away from things that were explicitly believed by the founding
in the Federalist
fathers.
Papers, and it's mentioned negatively as a problem. So you asked me, is democracy a fundamental American value? I say no.
Okay.
Because I go back to our roots. And Hamilton, Madison, and Jay...
Oh, I know that Hamilton was anti-democracy.
No, well, hold on,
these people thought that people should be owned as
I want to be clear. I am pro-representative government,
okay,
but I'm not pro-democracy. That's a big difference, and that distinction's important. But you asked very specifically about democracy, which is not an American value. It never has been and never should be, because what is democracy? Democracy is majority rule no matter what. That there's no provisions of checks and balances, no inalienable rights, no separation of powers, pure if the majority gets it, the majority wants it as quickly as possible.
I don't advocate pure democracy. I do understand that we live in a representative, like we live in a republic,
so
and I understand
representative
these things.
Government.
Okay.
And you might say I'm splitting hairs on words, but I'm not.
Well, just coming from a place where on some level we have a level of democracy in this country and people vote and it is part of their civic duty to vote.
Sure.
Yes. Do you not think it is in the greater interest of this country at large that its citizens are as educated as possible to therefore be able to participate in that system?
I think they should be as wise as possible, and I don't think that education and wisdom are the same thing.
Yeah,
in fact,
I understand.
I think college disincentivizes the cultivation of wisdom.
In the age where there is such a hypersaturation of, and we've seen this, like extremely polarizing, different, like people are getting their news from wildly different sources.
Yes.
People just don't interact with the other side at all. Do you think that being an autodidact in any sense of the term is going to give you a thorough and rigorous education if you are so likely to end up sucked into these holes where you're never interacting with people who
that's not my only form of learning. I meet a lot of cool people. I learn from people like you and others. I mean, I'm listening when you're talking. It's not just a shtick. You haven't won me over on any of it, but you had an opportunity to. But I'm glad you attempted to. But yeah, I mean, you learn in other ways other than just sitting in a classroom, listening to a professor drone on for 90 minutes and pretending to read his book and paying $20,000 a semester to cheat on the exam at the end of the semester.
I think college is what you make of it. I
agree. So is life.
People are selling themselves short on their education if they don't.
You can listen to as many podcasts as you want. You can meet interesting people. And
academia does have like an actual level of like. You have to prove that you're worth your salt, at least to have peer-reviewed papers published, which you don't have to do to start a podcast.
If you get a PhD, yes, but hold on. So is your contention that I'm not informed or not worldly or not wise? I want to be clear.
I'm not making any claims about your specific level of being informed. I'm saying the general rhetoric on the right against education, against higher education specifically.
Why do you think it is? Is it because you think we hate smart people, or is it that there's something happening here that we really think is troubling?
I think it's much easier to control people who are less educated.
See, now you're a conspiracy theorist. So, no, it's...
Anti-intellectualism is a hallmark of fascism.
Do you think we're against higher education because it largely has created an ungrateful, unprepared generation that goes into the American body politic and does not share the core American values of freedom of speech, gratitude for our founding, consent of the governed? In fact, it's hyper-radical. And it's against our traditions, our norms, and our customs, and it's created massive fissures. We call that the woke mind virus, if you will.
Okay, that makes...
It's not because people are easier to control. In fact, we love learning. I learn every day. In fact, that's why I'm pro-Hillsdale College, where it's probably one of the hardest colleges in the country to get into and graduate from. The problem is that when you are learning largely trash and crap, and you're not going in the pursuit of truth, beauty, or goodness, and you're not trying to inculcate wisdom or good character...
There's no oversight on online political punditry to make sure that you're in pursuit of wisdom and goodness.
No, of course
you directly profit from propagating viewpoints that are more polarizing and that suck people deeper into more conspiratorial thinking.
Hold on. What you're doing is you're actually insulting the audience, not me. Because the vast majority of this audience actually enjoys watching my videos, and they enjoy hearing from me.
I never said your audience didn't enjoy watching your videos.
Because you say I'm profiting. The way
you do profit. You financially, you make a ton of money from getting more clicks.
The audience rewards me because they find that I bring some value.
Well, I don't
and that they
necessarily
learn
think
something from
that
me.
whatever gets
I
the
want to get
most
to the next
eyes
question.
on a specific.
But
yeah,
it's
no, I
easy to
understand.
attack me as exploitation. What I say is actually very popular and resonates with people. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I was speaking with some people who are kind of against you coming here today, and they say that you come here, you're media trained, you've memorized all these talking points, and I just kind of wanted to question, like, are you truthfully like here to try to change people's minds, or is there kind of a benefit to keeping people divided? Like, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, do you think it's better for the country to be divided ideologically, or is it like preventing a more progressive debate?
Well, I guess, how am I dividing people if I ask you if you disagree, you come to the mic? How is that divisive?
Well, no, I'm just saying it's like you have these like clickbaity titles. It says like prove me wrong. Your critics are saying that you're trying to keep people divided. They're urging people not to come talk to you because you're going to spin it. What would you like to say to like your critics?
They're welcome to come to the microphone and say whatever they want to me, but they're intellectual cowards and they won't do that.
Okay,
you know how we heal our divides? By talking to people we disagree with.
I would agree with that.
We will get closer to a civil war if we act like that. We just yell at people we don't like. You dress with, I guess I'm all black, but, with masks on and just with stupid epitaphs. Okay, like that's how you get closer to dividing the country. You heal the country when you allow disagreement and you allow a microphone with people that have differing views.
But I think when you come out and you say like civil war and you use these like fear-mongering words, I feel like you're definitely trying to like get people like riled up, and that helps.
I mean, it's 100% factual. We're close to a civil war in this country, and I don't want that to happen. And people that act like that are going to further radicalize both sides, and you de-radicalize a population through speech.
I would say that conversation and media and like spreading the word definitely like that's like how you bridge the gap. But like when you're talking about the immigration debate, you said if you were here illegally, then you should get deported. I feel like that is stopping.
That's a very moderate view, by the way.
I feel like that's stopping like a more progressive debate on how we could help solve the immigration crisis. And
you solve it by deporting the criminals, aka every single one that broke our laws to come here. That's a very moderate position.
But I'm just saying, like, there's like ideas out there that America's this free land, and if you come here, you make it rich. Like, there's a false narrative that's like going out, that's like causing people to come here illegally, and like they try to cross the Rio Grande, and they unfortunately, like, a lot of times, like, if Border Patrol can't save them, then it stops them. So I think there's a more progressive conversation that could happen.
I'm sure there's a more progressive way to look at it. Yeah.
No, but
I'm not here to be progressive.
Okay. Well.
I want your take on immigration. What do you feel about illegal immigration, border hopping, border patrol? What do you take on that? Do you believe? I mean, obviously, I know like somewhat what you.
It shouldn't be a mystery, my beliefs,
obviously.
but yeah.
But I want to like hear from you first.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in this country illegally, you should be deported.
Okay.
And we should also restrict the amount of legal immigrants coming into this country as well.
Okay.
But the illegal problem is a much bigger problem right now. It's a full-out invasion. We have 15,000 people a day marching into our country. We don't know who they are. Terrorist watch lists. They're killing people every day. Laken Riley, another 16-year-old in Texas, was just murdered over the weekend by an illegal.
So you believe that everyone, no matter what you've done, deserves to get deported, even if they're illegal? What if they just do nothing and contribute to society? You can contribute to society.
Well, they didn't do. Hold on. They didn't do nothing. They broke into our home.
Okay. But like,
so if you break into somebody's home, you should be able to get kicked out of the home. So they know what they did. They trespassed. They domiciled themselves illegally. If that continues, go back to your country of origin and go be a dreamer in Nicaragua.
But a lot of times it's because of U.S.'s imperialistic past is what caused many of these nations to. Oh, can you hear me?
U.S. imperialism in the past?
Yeah, a lot of these countries have been devastated by.
Okay, so there's over 120 different countries that are coming across the border. Uzbekistan. You know, over 155,000 people from China have come across the border this year?
Okay.
From China. That's not like U.S. imperialism in Honduras. So they should be kicked out and deported. And it doesn't matter, U.S. imperial, I'm going to roll my eyes at the whole thing. You still broke the law. You came into our country illegally. We have laws and customs. You came here, you knew you were breaking the law, and you should be sent back to your country of origin. Any decent country would do that.
So you're taking a subset of Chinese citizens, or Chinese people from China, and grouping them with everyone else, and because
I think Hondurans, Mexicans, Nicaraguans, El Salvadorians, Panamanians, Venezuelans, Chileans, they should all go home.
Oh, really?
If they're here illegally, yes.
But like I said before, these people have been devastated by in the past. These countries are poor. These
I
countries
don't
have been-
care. Like, go fix
Really?
your own country. How do we screw up El Salvador? No, tell me, how did we screw up El Salvador? Can anyone tell me? Or is that just a talking point?
What about for the kids?
Go
If you're
back to
born
your
here-
country of origin.
So you would tell me to go back to my country
Well,
right now?
are you born here or not?
I'm born here.
Well,
My
I think we
parents
should
not.
get
They
rid of
were
birthright
illegal.
citizenship, but technically we have it, so you
Me.
should stay. But yes.
But I'm contributing to society. I'm working.
Okay, good for you. I mean,
So then
again,
I should just leave?
I think we should get rid of birthright citizenship.
Oh,
but,
so I'm done.
But
I'm done for
again,
it.
I'm
Get me
not
out
like
Mexico.
I'm not like king, so we don't get rid. But birthright citizenship is a misreading of the birthright clause in the U.S. Constitution. But we have it, so you're going to stay. Don't worry. Okay.
But you want me gone.
But
you want me gone?
Well, no, I don't want you. I want
You
the
just said
law
it,
to
like
be
a couple minutes
enforced.
ago.
Again, I think you're a nice person, but I don't
too.
allow my feelings to all of a sudden come in to the
You were literally
administration
being
of
very emotional
justice.
in the moment.
I'm sorry, what?
You were literally talking about how, oh, we didn't do anything. Get out of here. It's literally what you just said. I'm dumbing it down, obviously.
Well, okay, but did your parents come here illegally?
Yeah.
Okay, they're criminals, and they should go
Okay.
back to the country of origin.
But they contribute to society.
I don't.
They pick up,
I'm
they
sure
work
a lot
every
of
day.
criminals. Okay, they might rob a store and pay their taxes.
They get your food.
Okay, but
They fast food.
let me ask you a
They
question.
drive your kids to school.
When they came,
that not contributing?
what's their country of origin?
My mom's from Mexico. My dad's from Syria.
From Syria.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ooh,
got it.
don't talk about that.
Did he come here illegally too?
Not him. Just my mom.
Okay,
But I
got
only
it.
live with my mom, so.
So that's fair. So when she came here, did she know she was breaking the law?
She was like, I think, 17. So yeah.
Did she know?
She probably know.
Okay, therefore you should go back to your country of origin. If you knew that you were invading somebody's home, I don't have sympathy for you. You're an invader. You broke into our country.
But
I don't care if you're contributing.
Anyone.
I don't care if you're this wonderful dreamer in this great story. Either you have the law or you don't. And if your position is to repeal that law, then make that case. If you think it should be illegal to be able to waltz into somebody's country, then fine. There should be no exceptions to the administration of border law. You know who agrees? Mexico. If I go into Mexico without papers, they'll deport me back to America. Try to land in Cabo without your passport.
They'll let you in. I've been
No,
to
they
Mexico plenty
won't.
of times.
No, they won't.
Really? I just
As
walked through.
No, I landed in Cabo 6 months ago with somebody without a passport. They didn't let him into the country. There are stricter borders to go into Mexico.
That is
than
a lie. I don't know what border you've been through, but to go into Mexico is literally you just walk in. You drive in.
You drive to
it's
Cabo.
It's literally fast. You know,
do you know where?
coming back
Do you
to
know where
America-
Cabo is on the southern tip of the Yucatan Peninsula? How do you drive?
You're talking about all of Mexico. You can't make the argument and talk about the southern border when you're talking about a part of Mexico. If you say that argument,
If
you're
I
talking about the whole
illegally
thing.
domiciled myself in Mexico City and I announced I was illegal, what would the Mexican government do?
Who's announcing they're illegal?
You just announced your mom is here illegally.
Yeah, because you asked.
No, you declared yourself. I'm a dreamer. I was born here. So I implied your mom was here
Okay.
illegally, right? And you might not like to hear it, but your mom's a criminal. And
Okay.
every day she stayed here is no different than squatting. You're squatting in America. You don't get squatters' rights in this country. Just
Okay.
because you have a nice story and we feel sorry for you. Again, your mom contributes a lot, right? Then she can contribute back in Mexico. She can go build a beautiful business and get a job, or
Why
go
can't
to.
she do that here?
She already is, but the point is that she wasn't welcome here. She wasn't invited. She cut in line. She took the place of other legal immigrants from across the world that have to wait decades to come into here. She wanted it more, so she cut in line under this mass sympathy campaign, and we're supposed to feel sorry for her? Go back to Monterey.
Okay.
So, do you think we should get rid of the law that says you can't come into a country illegally? Should we just get rid of that law?
My honest opinion?
Yeah.
I would say no.
No, we shouldn't get rid of it.
No.
Okay, I agree. So then when should we enforce it?
What?
When should we enforce it?
I don't know.
Okay, and the reason, and I respect the intellectual honesty, because if you said we should enforce it all the time, then you know it would apply to your
Yeah.
mom. But look, you're a winner of all this. You get to be in the greatest country in the history of the world, right?
I respect it. I love being American.
Yes, and so, great, okay? And we have birthright citizenship. You have a U.S. passport, I assume, right? You cannot have a sustainable country if you do not have control of who comes into your country with no sort of standards, no sort of process. It's a big mystery. Secondly, on top of that, we have it on the books. You shall not trespass across the U.S. southern border. It is literally a felony. They want to make it a misdemeanor. So if we repeal that law, that's a position of some people. No border policy whatsoever.
Okay. No, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you for your time.
God bless. Next question. Thank you.
So I just had a question because you talk a lot about like protecting and securing our southern borders. But as the granddaughter of immigrants, I think that we get into a lot of complicated disputes with the idea that immigrants are criminals, are drug dealers, and things like that. So I just want to hear what your opinion is on those expectations or those what do you call it? Those stereotypes that are put on Hispanic communities, Latino communities, and how they change the way people perceive immigration.
Sure. So, thank you for the question. So you said you're the first generation
Yes, I
student
am.
or first generation American?
I'm a first generation student.
Cool, great. Second generation American? Did I hear that right? Or
Third generation
Cool.
American on my mom's side.
Great.
Second on my dad's.
when your grandparents, then, is that right, came
Yes.
to this country, did they do so through the legal process that was in front of them?
So my father got married to my mother, so he's a legal resident of the United States. She's been here her entire life.
But did she enter legally?
She did. She's
Okay.
she's born here. Yeah.
Got it.
My grandpa on my dad's side entered in illegally.
Okay. So I'm not here to like insult your grandpa, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, but we must be very clear that the type of immigration that we support is when you follow our rules and you come on our terms, and that you do not break into a country uninvited and you try to cut.
Can I add something to that? The reason why he left, and a lot of people in Mexico do, is because of the political state, especially in the 70s and 80s, when they decided to move. They have a government that isn't supportive of their constituents, and because of drug problems, their only choice was to move.
Yeah, I totally sympathize. That's not true. It's never the only choice to commit a crime, and we should not put up with it. And so it is an insult to other immigrants from Vietnam and Laos and Pakistan that have to wait decades in line to morally equivalate people that come in and just break in. Oh, I have an unstable country. Like half of the world's countries are unstable. So look, we just have to be very clear with this, is that if you come into the country uninvited, you have committed a crime and you are a criminal. And we could decide that we're not going to enforce our laws, or we can say that when you are a criminal, you should then be punished for that crime, aka sent back to your country of origin, because you were not invited. And it is an insult, again, to the Poles and to the Czechoslovakians and from the Senegalese and people all across the world that don't have the proximity or the luxury just to waltz into America.
You call it a luxury to leave a country that has political tyranny and come into a country with opportunity?
Yes, to live in Mexico, to be able to go 100 miles north and break into America. Do you know how many people in Pakistan would kill to be on that border?
That's why we bring them in.
Well, we shouldn't, right? That's the point. And secondly, do you think that you have a right to immigrate to America?
I think that I didn't have a choice. My grandparents made that decision
Okay,
for me.
and I'm not trying to attack your grandparents, but no one has a right to go to anybody else's country. You are invited. It is a privilege, not a right, to come into America.
So it's a privilege to live a life that requires you to have clean water, clean food, clean
Yes,
air.
of course it is.
And you have to fight for that?
Yes, it is not.
But we didn't?
Hold on a sec. Well,
Born here,
hold
we
on a
didn't
second.
fight for that?
Well, my ancestors did fight for that, actually, and I'm a very thankful recipient of many generations of Americans that fought for the greatest nation ever
By
to
doing
exist.
what?
in the-
Coming here?
Well,
Illegally?
wait, what did my ancestors do? They
Came here
They
illegally.
came over here in 1620, fought in the Revolutionary War, fought in the Civil War, fought in World
So
War I.
because my grandpa
fought in World
didn't
War
come here in
II.
1620, it gives him no right to
Well,
have a good
no,
life?
he can fill out paperwork and wait in line like the
Okay.
rest of the world, and then we can see whether or not it's in our best interest to allow him to come in. And so we have to weigh costs and benefits. Do you think that the American government should first have a obligation to citizens before foreigners?
Okay, I think we have
No,
an
answer the
obligation.
question. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Yeah, we're obligated because we're citizens to have the rights that we have, but that doesn't mean we can't open up our borders
that's not
when
the
we
question.
have the process
Hold on a second.
to do so.
You, being a younger American, and everyone in the audience, is the first generation in American history to have it be worse off than your parents. So the social, and you agree with that, social contract, poorer, more expensive. So wouldn't it be rational for the American government to say, we're going to prioritize younger generation Americans that are American passport holders and citizens before those in another nation?
I don't want to say anything that offends people. But
I've
go
already
ahead. Said it, right? I've already said it. Whatever. I think that the way we're going about it is wrong. And that if we don't have a clear path to citizenship, we won't open up those opportunities for people to come and seek a good life. But I also think that, we are required to have those rights ourselves.
Seeking a
as
good
American
life
citizens.
is fine. It's a nice added benefit. Our government does not exist to improve the life of foreign citizens.
But we should be open to the idea of accepting that.
Of course we are, if we have our own house in order. We are in chaos right now. We have the most depressed, suicidal, anxious generation in history. Our birth rate is collapsing. Kids can't afford homes.
Yeah.
You guys are drowning in debt. You have to compete you have to compete for jobs against foreigners. Our country is a mess right now. And so when your country's a mess and your home is in disarray and bedlam, your own government should say, time out. I have a heart for the people of Haiti. I have a heart for the people of every country. But you're not coming here until this generation at least has it as good as their parents. And that is a very simple moral statement. If when you bring people in, they make the life worse for the people that were already here, should we stop letting those people in?
Do they, though?
Yes, they do. Illegals every day are doing DUIs and kids are dying across the country.
But if Americans are doing this, it's fine?
Well, it's not fine. They should go to jail. But this is the red herring, is that Americans are invited guests. Foreigners are people that broke into the country that shouldn't be here, and none of those crimes should be happening at all. One of them is a crime of choice. The other is just a crime because that's part of what happens when you have a society. So when you have Americans that are murdered by illegals, that is because we have decided and chosen we're okay with them being here, and if they kill our people, no big deal.
I'm just trying to, I know we're not going to agree on
No,
this.
it's
That's
fine.
why I
So,
came up here in the
that's
first
fine.
place. I knew you
Are
were.
you okay with deporting every illegal person that's here?
No.
Why?
Because there's some people here that are not represented well by the media. There's a lot of illegal immigrants here that are working their butts off for the life that they want.
I don't care if they're working hard. But the point is, what should the punishment be for breaking into a country?
Depends on the crime you commit after you break into it.
Okay, that's it. I'm talking about just the crime is breaking in. What should the punishment be? I break into somebody's home. What should their punishment be?
Can you repeat that?
Oh, so if you behave after you get here, that's fine. So to play that out, if someone comes into your dorm room uninvited and they do the dishes and laundry, they can stay?
If I'm not going to do my own dishes, heck yeah. They're doing my dishes for me? Cool. If they don't kill me, I'm not dead. It is what it is, man.
Well, they are killing a lot of Americans, but...
You say they. Like they are?
Yes,
like
they.
All illegal immigrants kill people? That's crazy.
Many illegals do, actually. No, but it's just interesting. The punishment for the crime of breaking into a nation should be what it is in Switzerland and Israel and Hungary. Every person who breaks into a nation uninvited goes back to their country of origin, period.
So why
End
is
of
there an
story.
emphasis on the southern border?
Because most people come illegally through the southern border.
The point I'm trying to make is that we categorize all illegal immigrants under the same thing: sex traffickers, drug dealers.
Am I
and
doing
by
that?
you saying all illegal immigrants have to
No.
be deported,
Yes.
you're implying that all of
I'm not
them
implying
are doing
anything.
these
I'm being
terrible things,
super
and not a
clear.
small percentage of them.
If you come into a country uninvited, definitionally you are a criminal.
We're just not going to agree.
It's fine. Then
That's
final
okay.
question. What is a criminal?
What is a criminal?
No, what is it? Would you agree with the definition that a criminal is someone who breaks the law?
Here's where I'm thinking. Here's the thing. I know how he's going to turn it, and I don't fully agree.
It's not a matter of turning it. It's a very ABC sequence. If they're not criminals, then tell me what a criminal is. And a criminal is obviously someone who breaks the law. Someone who comes across the southern border broke federal law, therefore they are a criminal.
I think a lot of people, both men and women, they're kind of frustrated with the current dating landscape. Do you have any thoughts on this? What's your diagnosis and any solutions? And we'll open it up.
Sure, yeah. I think people need to date with the intent to marry. Yeah, I'm a big critic of hookup culture in its current form. I believe sex should be sacred and is sacred, and it's really thrown away way too generously in this society and culture. And I can tell you I'm super blessed. I have the best wife in the world. We have an amazing life. Building a family is the coolest thing ever, and my prayer for all of you is that you one day can do that.
That's so cute. it's honestly the most joyful thing. And I've had some pretty amazing experiences. I've been very, very blessed. Very lucky, you could say, but very blessed is the word I would use. And the greatest joy I've ever had is coming home to my little daughter running up to my leg. There's nothing that even comes close to it. Not flying on Air Force One, not meeting with presidents. That pales in comparison to your little girl coming up and squeezing your leg.
Okay, got it. Does anybody else have any thoughts on that with,
Yeah. So I just wanted to circle back because you said something that caught my attention, and I disagree with it. Because you said something like, I hope all of you can like experience that, and like, you said something like, I hope all of you can experience that, and I mean, I don't disagree with that. I hope we can all experience joy in life like that. That's amazing, but I just feel like, I don't know why you said it that way. Like, maybe we're not going to experience that because we don't have the same values as you.
Is that what he said?
From that, I thought it was.
I don't think that's what,
I don't know.
that's not the impression I got, but I'll if Charlie wants to answer.
Well, if I said it that way, I didn't mean it that way. Maybe you can tell me more about your line of work.
What would you like to know?
Do you think that it's going to create a good, happy family in the future?
Right now I'm working on it. Yeah, me
That's
and
good.
my boyfriend are doing really well in our relationship, and honestly, I think contrary to what most people would believe, I think being in porn has strengthened us.
Why is that? I've never heard that.
Yeah.
What can you tell me why?
So basically, like, being in porn and having sort of like this open type of relationship where you can have sex with other people, obviously there are certain boundaries in the relationship, but it really makes you think about, what's important, why you love this person, and, you start to really hold things true that are deeper than just sex, and I think that on top of that, you can share sex with other people together, and that's really bonding, that's really fun.
Are you ever worried that do you ever get jealous of him if he has sex with other people?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So how does that strengthen your relationship?
Because we're able to talk about it, and I think every time that I bring up a concern and he's able to soothe it and we're really able to like work on that bond, it just makes it stronger.
Have you ever, when you were having sex, do you ever think it's more than physical? That maybe there's emotional and spiritual connections you might be introducing?
No.
So it's a purely physical experience.
Yeah.
See, for me, sex is more than physical. It's actually, that's the least part of sex for me because I get to share it with my soulmate. It's my best friend.
It's definitely a big energy exchange.
It's a big energy exchange. And so, Molly, I would ask respectfully, wouldn't you want to only share that energy exchange with the person that you love most and want to have children with?
I think sex can exchange different types of energies. So like you can exchange an intimate type of energy, or you can exchange a really passionate, like horny type of energy. You can exchange dull energy during sex. You can exchange manipulative energy during sex. Sex can be used for a wide variety of things, and I think the biggest one is like marital spiritual connection, but you can't deny that there's other benefits to it as well.
If you could be with your boyfriend currently, and I waved a magic wand and I said you can make $1 million a year and never do porn again, would you?
No.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
What?
Are you making more than that a year, Molly?
Not yet.
Oh, well
Yeah.
then, I mean, aren't you doing that? That's your profession, so I assume you're doing that to make money, correct?
Yeah, 100%. Well, also
But Charlie
I'm
just
doing
has a magical wand. He's got, that's not the wand.
For the sake of argument.
He's used the wand. You can make $1 million a year.
Yeah.
You don't have to do, the adult content.
Well, the thing is, I wouldn't have to do it. That would be great, but I would still want to do it. I mean, personally, like, I'm an exhibitionist. I love, like, putting my sexual self out there for other people to see, for other people to, like, touch themselves to, have fun with.
Can I ask you a question? Since you're about presenting yourself to the world, do you have a good relationship with your father?
Okay, here we go.
No, I don't talk to him.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
How do you believe feminism should be defined, and do you think it can be reconciled with conservatism?
Well, so yes and no. It depends. There's first, second, and third wave feminism. First wave feminism is that women should have a right to vote. Second wave feminism had a lot of problems, which is the female liberation movement, that women should not just be at home, but they should get into the workforce. Third wave feminism is complete garbage, which is toxic modern day feminism, which is irreconcilable with any decent society, which is far more about hating men than actually respecting women. And you guys all know the type of that kind of feminism. There are some good aspects of second wave feminism, but at the core of feminism, we have to ask the question is, has it made American women happier? And it hasn't, actually. American women are more suicidal, more depressed, more anxious than they were prior. And I believe, and again, we get in trouble for saying this, is that you should have the agency and liberty to do whatever you want. But many women, a majority, like 90+% deep down, have this urge to reproduce and to raise children. And we are telling them to forsake that and go become a CEO of a shoe company. And we're wondering why so many young ladies are miserable and angry, because they're at war with something within them that they actually want to do, which is to have a relationship, have children, and nurture future humans into this world.
I would like to propose an alternative perspective. I'm conservative, but I'm also a feminist, and I think that a better way to propose feminism in the public media would be not to eliminate having children and tell women that they shouldn't have children, but to figure out your career first before you decide to settle down, because you can't really undo that once you have kids.
So I think it's the exact opposite. I think you should have kids first, then do your career, because which one has a timetable on it?
True, but once you have kids, you're committed to that, and you can't really have as much of a career, so you should kind of define your I guess what I'm trying to say.
Kids are way more important than being, a data scientist at Dropbox.
But okay, what if you don't want to have kids?
That's fine. Then go do it. You're risking that you might end up super miserable. And that's what we're seeing, is that we have seen a spike where half of women in their 30s that are unmarried are on antidepressants. Half. We've never seen a spike like this. And again, I'm not saying that's the only reason, but we've never, ever seen a generation or a group of people so angry, so miserable, so medicated. And there's obviously something wrong. We know who are the happiest women in America. Women with 3 or more kids are the happiest women in America. Least suicidal. Yes, right? And by the way, it's not easy, but it's super deep. And so again, if you want to go be a data scientist, God bless you. This is country, free country, go do that. I just think that there's a part of the story that isn't being told, which is that the opposite should be have kids as soon as possible, and then you can go pursue your career in your late 30s once your kids are 18 years old. And it's the opposite. We tell people, wait. And by the way, when you reach your 30s, you might be infertile, you might have trouble having kids, you might need IVF, you might need all these other very, harsh treatments, and you might not even find a mate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
That's
very
all I
much.
had.
Enjoy class. Thank you.
What exactly do you mean by college is a scam?
Good question. I wrote a whole book about it. Largely the value proposition that you are being offered is not worth the time or the money that many of you are forking over. There's exceptions to that generally, but for example, the vast majority of students that graduate from four-year college, they'll end up getting a job, if they get a job at all, in a career or a job that doesn't require a college degree. So henceforth, asking the question, why do they go to college in the first place?
Okay, now what do you mean about jobs that don't require a college degree?
Like working at Starbucks as a barista.
Okay. So what exactly do you mean by the value proposition not being sufficient for the cost of going to college?
Yeah, so, I mean, going $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 into debt, that's a significant thing. And hopefully, if you're going to do that, you're going to be able to prove and have some value for that reason. So, for example, there was a study that just came out in the last day, the 16 lowest paying job majors, and the vast majority of those are actually what kids study in college, right? Communications, liberal arts, things of that nature. And so the question is, why even go to college at all if you're just basically getting a credential that is worth less and less money in the marketplace? Now, if you study engineering, if you study finance, terrific, but the scam also is just beyond the financial value proposition. It's the ideological pollutants that are spread on college campuses and the, let's just say, some of the left-wing indoctrination that occurs here as well.
Okay, so moving aside from that red herring there, I myself am a communication major, and I am very well aware of the communication majors who just take a 4-year degree and go into jobs that either don't require a degree or...
Try to get as close to the mic as you can. Is that okay? Thank you. It's okay. Yeah.
But anyways, I'm aware of the communication majors who only get a bachelor's degree, and if they're lucky, they're only able to get research assistant jobs in communication, or not even get a job that requires a degree at all. But would not those who continue on to get masters and doctorates in communication, who get hundreds, who get $100,000 a year or $200,000 a year research jobs, would that not counteract the total economic, socioeconomic value of those who just go into college and then end up Starbucks baristas?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, also master's degrees are expensive, right? PhDs are expensive, so you're looking at least at $150,000 to $200,000 in debt, minimum, if you're going to do that. And if that's the path you want to take, so be it. But there are 11 million job openings in the country right now that pay $80,000 or more that don't require a college degree. 11 million job openings. And I don't think we're always telling our young people, the next generation, that these jobs are available to you. It's an expectation that you go to 4-year college, and in fact, you're treated and almost considered to be dumb if you don't go to 4-year university. And I think that's a big mistake. And not to mention the vast majority, 41% of kids that enter college do not graduate. There's something deeply wrong with the system.
So from what you're telling me, though,
final point.
From what you're telling me, though, it sounds more like the problem lies not in college itself, but rather the individual paths that people choose who look at a situation, make the wrong decisions, don't stay in school as long as they need to in order to get the career that they want.
Or they drop out because they don't see the value. They drop out because they don't think it's worth their time. And again, half of this audience, after 10 years, if they get a job, they'll end up getting a job that didn't require them going to college in the first place. Half. That sounds like a scam. Why are they here in the first place? Why are they borrowing all this money and spending 4 years on a university just to go get a job that never would have required them to get the degree or the debt or the 4 years being spent on campus? Thanks for the time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
How about this radical idea? What if people waited to have sex when they got married?
That will never happen.
Why?
Because people want to I'm being so...
I did it. Yeah, I waited for marriage. I mean, it was amazing.
That's amazing for you, but you are not
What
ever...
about the people who get married
I know it's not easy, but
compatible?
but that's a good question. Let me get to this though. Do those of you that haven't, I'm guessing you all haven't waited till you got married, do you wish you did?
No.
No? No? Do any of you wish you... So, in the ideal, if I could paint a world for you that you only shared your sexual experience with one person that was your soulmate, that's not interesting to you?
No.
Oh, that's cool. But
Wait, you guys don't
that's an
regret
ideal world.
any of the men you've slept with?
I maybe
I don't believe in
regret a man that I've
soulmates.
slept with.
You don't
but
believe in soulmates?
Not
How
necessarily.
about best friend?
No.
You don't believe in best friends?
I've had a lot of best friends in my life.
Perfect match.
No.
I don't think that exists
You meet
either.
so
You
many
guys
people
are
throughout
so
your lifetime.
jaded.
I do
You
think
meet
the
so
sex
many-
is better when
you
you're
meet so
in
many
love.
people throughout your
So
lifetime.
jaded.
At least we're consistent.
No, you're very consistent.
You can have multiple soulmates.
Multiple soulmates.
Yeah.
I was saying, like, with as big as the world is, you're not going to necessarily find exactly one person.
Because you're going to grow Yeah, throughout your life.
Yeah,
We're
because, I mean,
changing
like-
all the time.
And
sometimes
Your
people don't grow with you.
soulmate
But
So-
if that person were to grow with you, then that's...
So then, if it's not a soulmate, then what, I mean this not facetiously, then what is the purpose of marriage?
I don't agree. I wouldn't do a legal marriage.
If you have as much sex as you want before, and marriage really doesn't mean much, does it?
No.
Do you think America was a better country when people waited to have sex when they got married?
You think everyone did that in America?
No, it was the vast majority of women in the 50s and 60s would not have premarital sex. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, that people are having more premarital sex?
I personally don't like it. I don't like hookup culture at all.
You don't like hookup culture, but you're not regretting sleeping with a bunch of guys before a soulmate. Help me understand.
Okay, hold on.
And then, wait,
guys is crazy.
Hold on, and you don't like hookup culture, but you also do OnlyFans, so help me understand all
so
this.
Let me, okay, so my body count is 6, and 2 of those I was in a relationship with. The third one I thought I was going to be in a relationship with. And the 3 before that, all of my friends were hooking up with guys, so I thought like, oh, that's what I need to do because they're all hooking up, so this is the normal thing. I should be hooking up. And I realized very quickly, I don't like hooking up with random men. I don't like
Do any of you think that women are being harmed by hookup culture?
Yes. I agree.
So you all agree with that, but then you say that no, you don't think women are being harmed by hookup culture?
No.
Okay.
Wait, what?
We'll get that in a second. However, so then why don't all of you make a commitment that you're going to save yourself for marriage? You could do that. Society might not have to.
Because I'm already past the point.
Well, you can make a new. You can always become a new version of yourself. What's done is done, but you could say,
No.
I'm now going to save myself from this point forward.
I don't want to be a new version. I want to be me and they accept me for me.
What is me? What is that?
Whatever I've done in the past and up to this point.
So there's no improvement?
I don't need to improve necessarily. It's that I
don't need to improve. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I'm just curious about your stance on college as a scam because I feel like, according to the Hamilton Institute, people who get bachelor degrees over a total lifetime earnings will earn over $1 million more than those who don't. And also, I feel like college is an important place for people to like go learn valuable life lessons. And also, it's good to have like a balanced society because then you're gonna get artists. You're also gonna get architectures. You're gonna get engineers. You're gonna get all sorts of different people that we need in society because. Like, what's the point in living if we don't have writers or artists, you know? So I just want to get your take on that.
The question is, do the best writers learn to write in college? Probably not, no. The best writers are gifted writing, and they learn to write by writing. And I would just argue that this kind of holistic view you get, for example, what are you studying? Can I ask?
Economics.
Okay, so what do you think of Thomas Sowell?
I actually really like him. I bought his book, Basic Economics.
Great.
He's one of the first economists I
Do
really
they teach it here?
Not yet, but also I've only been for like
so now
1
you're proving
year.
my point. If you're studying economics and they're not teaching Thomas Sowell, you're not getting an education, you're getting an indoctrination.
Well,
and you're
no.
being scammed.
Okay.
Milton Friedman, do they teach Milton Friedman here?
No, but I'm aware of him.
Okay, Ludwig von Mises.
I'm aware of him, but no.
Murray Rothbard, hold on.
No.
F.A. Hayek.
No.
Frederick Bastiat.
No.
You're not getting economics education, you're getting an indoctrination. You should know every single, it's not your fault, but what you're paying for or going into debt for is not a real economic education. Those are the people that theorized about free markets, which is a legitimate school of thinking. Monetarism, private property rights, and the fact that I'm not criticizing you, I'm criticizing the institution that's failing you, that you don't know what these people believe and you're not being taught that rigorously, proves my point that college is a scam.
Yeah, but again, I've only been here like a semester and a half. So.
But do you know who John Maynard Keynes is?
Heard of him. Actually, we did read about him a little bit.
Okay, so you read about John Maynard Keynes, but you were Keynes.
Yeah, in class. I learned about it in class.
Right, so that's my point, is that they'll teach you Keynes, but they won't teach you one out of the 7 people that I mentioned of Bastiat, Hayek, von Mises, Rothbard, Sowell, or Friedman. And that proves my point, which is that it's all demand side. It's all one picture of an economic argument that is not the complete picture of what. Now, maybe later on you'll get a supply side, economics teacher here, but this idea that you go to college to kind of get your worldview liberated, yet you get your worldview altered, to be perfectly honest. Secondly, to your point of earnings over a period of time, it matters completely and solely on what you study. Yeah. If you study the liberal arts, even after 10 years, study came out yesterday, 16 lowest paid majors happen to be some of the highest majors that people actually go and study, which is liberal arts, sociology. God bless people that do that stuff, I suppose. But you're also filled with all of the woke rubbish that is infecting our society.
You said that economics was not the best thing to study in your opinion. Like
Correct.
when I put my hand up, the question I wanted to ask was what do you actually think the best thing to study is?
Well,
the best reason to come to college.
Again, if you're going to a super left-wing college and you're trying to just get the piece of paper and credential, you should go at what the college is if it's known for, if it's best at. And so I don't know what UW is known for or what it's best at, but computer science, right? I would imagine the Paul Allen School, is that right? Or am I correct? This is up top of my head. Is that right? Yeah. It's right here, right? Yeah, so, but yeah, those fields in particular, but sociology or the life sciences or soft social sciences typically do not have as much of an ROI on the time or the money spent.
And so
economics is in the middle ground there.
And so you said that you would defund colleges, state colleges on a national level.
Yes.
And so basically that would mean that there are no subsidies going out to students, in-state students or anything like that.
I mean, you don't get to determine what the states do, but yes, federally, all federal grants should end completely, yes.
Okay.
Make these institutions survive on their own. If they're so wonderful and they're so great, then make it work. make your numbers work.
And so then, what is the difference between a state college and a privately owned college?
Well, so UW gets subsidized in-state tuition here, right?
Yeah.
So if you go to
that's why I'm paying only
for sure.
$12,000
No,
a year.
for sure. But you're paying it back in taxes. Let's be clear, right? So taxes make that possible, and your parents or you paid that in for 18
That's
years,
fine, yeah.
so you get that back. But a private school, I don't know, is there University of Seattle? Is that a thing? Or
Yes.
okay, which I'm guessing is private.
Seattle U, yeah.
Okay, that they do not get money from Olympia to subsidize the tuition. So they have to stand on their own 2 feet.
Right.
So they have higher tuition.
Yeah.
And they have to justify to donors how they're doing every single year.
Yeah.
But they still might get some federal money. Does that make sense?
Yes. And you're saying this on the grounds of required diversity credits? And
No, I just
things
think,
like
I
that?
mean, look around. Has college enriched our society? The young people are the most depressed. They're the most anxious. The most alcohol addicted, drug addicted, least married, most angry generation in American history.
Is that all due to college?
Where does it come from, though? I mean, they're the most college educated, most credentialed generation in history. Where do these ideas come from?
I would argue that they come from the fact that there are too many people and not enough jobs, and to stand out of the crowd, to stand out of the masses, you need to get yourself some credentials.
I totally agree. So you want to stand out? Don't go to college.
Then you're not going to get hired.
Worked for me.
Worked for you.
Start your own business. By the way, that's not true. Half of employers no longer require a college degree requirement.
Well, okay, I'm talking about more specialized jobs.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
As far as trades go, okay, that makes sense.
11 million trade. 11 million job openings for trades.
Yeah, you're using your muscles to get your daily wage.
Well,
right?
it's not just muscles though. Like for advanced engineering is not easy. That's not just picking up lumber and putting it on one side of the warehouse. That's very specific. Very, And by the way, you can learn to code in 8 weeks and earn $100,000 a year.
You can.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you don't need to go to University of Washington.
The thing is though that you are not going to get hired over somebody that has graduated from UW
You'd be
with
surprised.
a computer science degree.
You've been sold a lie. You've been surprised. You'd be really surprised. Employers less and less likely actually want to hire kids from college because they work the least, they're the most entitled, and they're quickest to run to HR about problems and mispronouncing people. You'd be surprised. No, it's true for the big firms like Microsoft, Amazon, Starbucks. Like they obviously want you to have a college degree.
Yeah.
But mid-major companies, mid-level companies increasingly don't care. They care about can you do the job? Like, do you have any sort of skill? Are you going to work really hard? Do you have good character?
That makes sense for startups and such.
Yeah,
yes.
for sure.
However,
and here's the thing. Just sorry to interrupt, but after 5 years, nobody cares where you went to college. Just so we're clear. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah.
Yeah, all good. I mean,
we just have a disagreement here. My whole point is to try to push the boundaries of discussion to make you guys open your eyes and realize you guys are getting ripped off by the institution here, and that's it. So
yeah, so I do not believe that I'm getting ripped off because in my field it is very important, especially with how oversaturated it is right now. I'm studying CS. Computer science, yes.
There's tons of jobs in computer. But I mean, there might not be though. I mean,
there aren't. That's the point.
AI might take all your jobs away sometime soon. By the way,
to stand out, the whole point is that here and elsewhere around the country, we're doing a bunch of research on how computer scientists and engineers in general are still going to be useful with the rise of AI. Elsewhere, you don't learn stuff like that. You learn the basics of programming. You've maybe heard about the Harvard 8-week course, right? That you were probably talking about just a second ago.
One of many.
However, when you actually do take that course, you don't get a lot of the reasoning skills, a lot of the practical application skills, and a lot of the things that I'm learning every day in my classes. And so the fact that you can learn it in 8 weeks and get a job because you have the qualifications, it's true maybe, but in the market that we have right now, where the job market is super oversaturated, there are a ton of people getting computer science degrees.
Yep.
These employers, most of the high-level ones that are going to pay you a lot of money, are not looking for somebody who has the base level qualifications. They're looking for more than that. And one more thing is that to get these jobs coming straight out of college, even with a degree in computer science from UW, which UW is known for computer science, you are going to have years and years of internship and job experience in most cases. Otherwise, you're going to be doing the base level.
Fair enough.
Right?
So we just have a difference of a worldview. I say, why not graduate from high school, learn to code, and go beg for an internship and bypass the college thing completely? You'd be amazed at how willing people are to help with that. Again, you guys have been largely sold a lie that you need to march through this place for 4 years and check the boxes and get the piece of paper, and it's been dangled in front of you. I'm here to tell you, and I'm only 10 years older than you, that the world doesn't really care you went to college. They care when you come out of college as your first job. Once you're in the door, it really is rather irrelevant. But we disagree.